Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Skull Session Recruiting Podcast brought to you by BuckeyeHuddle.com. I'm Marc Givler. Kevin Noon joining me again today. This is the episode we teased in the last episode that I think people are going to be interested in. We're going to do something a little different today. If you haven't paid attention the last few weeks or even in the last few days, Ohio high school football players are now allowed to compete in 7-on-7. That's a new rule the OHSAA passed. You have to give a big shout out to Trey McNutt, who kind of got this movement going publicly and basically participated in 7-on-7 and said, this is ridiculous. I'm going to do this. And it's ridiculous that I can't. And his efforts and being vocal on social media and really kind of giving life to this movement has led to a rule change. So I don't know that this will impact too much this year. I think we will see some guys branch out to maybe some national out-of-state 7-on-7 clubs that people are familiar with and start participating in the spring and summer this year. But I think what will really happen is next year things could really take off once the rule has been in place, so that people now have a year to kind of digest everything and make plans for next year. So. But I think we can expect Trey to continue to do 7-on-7. I think Tavian St. Clair is going to be doing some 7-on-7. Ohio State quarterback commit. So going to be an interesting time, I think, for the state of Ohio and kind of entering the 21st century. Welcome to the 21st century, Ohio. Going to be a great story, I think, to watch develop here. I'm all for this. I think it'll be better for everybody involved. And certainly we're excited about it because now we can go watch Ohio guys do 7-on-7, essentially year round. So with that in mind, Kevin and I were talking about what would the optimal 7-on-7 team look like for Ohio kids. And so we're going to have a Ohio players only 7-on-7 draft. Kevin and I are going to draft a 7-on-7 team. We're going to draft 7 offensive players, 7 defensive players. Breakdown on offense is 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 tight end, 4 wide receivers. Breakdown on defense is 2 linebackers and 5 defensive backs. So we're going to each draft a team, and would love to have you guys join us in the comments with what we're doing right and how dumb we are on certain picks and who has the best team. And we'll get into all that, but let us know in the comments. It'll be kind of a fun, interactive thing. And I think we're going to put up a poll on social media at some point and see who drafted the best team. Kevin, I am going to be a gentleman and give you the first pick. This is kind of my world. You do cover recruiting. I know you follow it very closely, and I know you do see a lot of these guys as well, but it would be a little bit of an unfair advantage, I think, for me to have the first pick. So I'm going to give you the first pick. We are not going to do position by position, so we can take anything. We're not going to do like quarterbacks first, then receiver. You can take any position you want at any time, but once you fill your spots on the roster, you're done. So you can't take 2 quarterbacks, 6 receivers. You can only take the quota. Again, we'll have some graphics here to let you guys follow along a little bit easier and kind of keep track of what we're doing. But we'll post this in article form as well on BuckeyeHuddle.com, and we'll have some social media stuff out as well so people can kind of argue about our lists. But this was an idea Kevin kind of put together about putting together 7-on-7 teams. I said, why don't we do a draft? That'd be even better, because otherwise I felt if we each did our 7-on-7 team, I felt maybe 5 or 6 guys would be on both teams. I was like, let's just do a draft. So hopefully everyone enjoys this. Kevin, any thoughts before you're on the clock?
No, you're right. This is your world that I am dipping my toe in. I do not get to see as many high school players in the state of Ohio, certainly as I need to do this piece. So the way that I envisioned it at first was, we'll just come up with a team together. And yes, there'll be a lot of agreement or whatever. But then when Marc brought up a draft, the competitive side of me is like, well, now I have to win. I would say that I've not seen, I've got a list of enough players to get me through. Even if Marc takes every player I want to take, I have enough players to get through. One or 2 or 6 of them maybe I've not seen, and I'm just trusting the star rankings. But the Ohio Express are going to win. I'm just going to say that right now. With General Manager Kevin Noon, the Ohio Express,
I wanted to be Ohio Express,
the
and you were going
subsidiary
to
of
be
the South
Goons.
Florida Express, we're going to win.
Well, I don't know what my team name is. I'm going to have to think of one for after the show, because I was going to be Ohio Express and you were going to be Noon's Goons.
I know, but I don't know. I'm not going to be calling any 16 and 17-year-old kids a bunch of goons. That just doesn't. I think
they would appreciate it.
Yeah.
No, you can have Ohio Express. I'll come up with something.
I was going to say, I'm trying to think of what even any of the other teams are named. I mean, none of them fit with Ohio, but there's a lot of strategy that's going to go in here, because there's certain positions that if you're only taking one and you have both players ranked closely with one another, are you really going to go high there or not? So I'm going to get right to it. And while I know that 7-on-7 is so much about just, pitch and catch and offense and everything else, I want to get a name on defense to start out.
You're going to take my guy.
And I'm going to take, out of Shaker Heights, Ohio, Trey McNutt.
Not my guy, but a very good pick, an appropriate pick. The only reason we're going to be able to do this with any kind of realism is because of Trey's efforts. So that's probably the right thing to do, is to draft Trey first. There's two guys I really want to come out of this draft with. Like, I'm going to be kind of devastated if I don't get.
Damn, now I got to steal one.
And didn't take one of them, so I'm going to get at least one of them here. And now I've got to decide which one I pick first. I'm going to follow your blueprint and go defense first.
Oh, I think I know who you're taking. Okay.
And I am going to take Akron Hoban cornerback Albert Hill.
I thought about that. There was just part of me that was like, and I know that I shouldn't be like, well, he's a 2026, so I shouldn't deal with that. But 7-on is 7-on. And if you can run and you can cover and you can do all of this, then you're going to be fine. So
might play a little offense for me too. You never know. It could play a little tailback, play a little slot.
Well, like if Chris Henry Jr. hadn't gone out to Mater Dei or whatever. Right. I mean,
no Chris Henry Jr., no Dorian Brew, folks. Sorry.
Right.
Chris might have been my first pick.
So we've each taken a defensive back. So there we go with that.
Don't you do it.
I don't think I am. I don't think
you are either on this one. I thought you might steal Albert from me. I don't think you're going to steal this one from me, but we'll see.
I really thought about it. I'm going to jump onto offense, and I'm going to take wide receiver from Cincinnati Withrow, Quentin Simmons.
Oh, my guy! The fastest man in the state of Ohio, probably, among the guys we're going to talk about today.
And that was my thought right there, is he's just going to be a nightmare. He's going to be a nightmare to cover in with so much space in the 7-on-7 game. But I thought that I would be able to get him in the second round, or I would have gone the other way, but here we are.
I should have drafted him because I should have banked that you weren't going to go and take two defensive guys in a row to start the class. So I should have taken Simmons first and let you take an offensive guy after me, and then I would have had Hill. That one stings. Now I got something to think about here. I'm going to make another pick that's probably going to put you at a strategic advantage. But after getting Simmons swiped from me, I'm on tilt a little bit. So I'm going to take Tavian St. Clair as my quarterback.
Okay. So this means I don't have to even think about quarterback until the
last pick of the draft if you want for quarterback.
Which, of course, is going to be like, I can't believe Noon pulled the trigger on a quarterback like in the final round. But anybody who's played fantasy
I can't take anyone else from you.
Knows that now I have my choice, and I have two quarterbacks on my board, but we're not going to get there. We're not going to get there at this point because I don't need to go there. I'm keeping track. I'm color coding the players as we take them, I'm going to go back to defense because I think that defense is going to be important. I know we're going to score enough points, and I'm going to go with a local guy. I'm going to go with Dwayne Galloway out of Marion Franklin.
That's a quality pick. Shoring up your secondary there. I probably need to get on the board with a wide receiver here, don't I? Or maybe I don't. I don't know. This is a weird spot in the draft for me because I've got my quarterback. I don't want to take a running back right now because then you'll just be able to wait till the end for that too. Yet there's so many receivers who I just think are all like clumped together. Like I don't know that there's like, I don't know. I feel like my top 5 or 6 receivers left are all kind of bunched together. Let me think about this. Where else could I think I could go a different direction here. You know what? I'm going to go a little outside the box here, I think. I'm taking Justin Hill because he's such a freak. He can play line. I've watched this kid play linebacker in 7-on-7, and he can do it. And his length and his ability to cover tight ends will that'll come in handy. He'll shrink passing lanes when he drops into coverage. I'm taking Justin Hill.
I like that pick a lot. I had him at the top. I had him at the top of my linebacker board as well. I kind of figured that, we look at linebackers in 7-on-7. It's like, well, you're really out there. What are you doing? Covering the running back out of the backfield? No, you are getting in the passing lanes. You are drawing the tight end and everything else. But, I think that for me, I'm going to build a team on defense. So I'm going to stay on defense. I'm going to take Cody Haddad out of St. Ignatius.
Good pick. You're awfully safety heavy, Kevin. That's very safety heavy. I don't know.
Trey McNutt can play either. I mean, I'll have Cody out there playing outfield for me. I like Trey being able to get out there and cover. And I'll tell you, going in, we had to have, in order for the math to work, you had to have 10 DBs listed, and I had 6 safeties and 4 corners. So they're if you make a run at corners, I could be in trouble in a hurry because I did not identify a lot of corners. This is going to be where my blind spot kind of gets me, where I don't get to see enough kids.
Yeah, I think I'm going to start applying a little pressure here because I don't like what you're doing. Yeah, let's do it. I am going to stay at Winton Woods.
You're taking Rogers, aren't you?
I am taking Damiel Rogers. You bet I am.
Damn.
Can cover the slot, can play safety, can play outside corner. You better believe I am taking Damiel Rogers.
You've absolutely forced my hand into who I have to take next. I have to take the last corner on my board.
Oh, no, not my guy. That's my other guy, though.
I have to take my last corner on the board. 2026?
Not my guy.
We're talking 2026?
Oh, my God, you're taking him.
Out of Cleveland Heights? Henry Perrimond?
Oh, is that your pick?
That's my pick.
Okay. Not my guy.
I mean, Henry's a little smallish at 5'11", $160, but again, you're not playing against the Big Ten here. You're not playing tackle. You're not doing any of that stuff. I like him a lot. I mean, is he going to be somebody who's, sized to be able to play in the Big Ten? Maybe not where he is now, but he's at 2026. He still has room to fill out and everything else. And I think in this situation, I like it. And again, I had no other identified corners, so I had to move there. If you took him, I was going to have all I guess. Well, Dwayne Galloway and safeties. That was going to be my secondary.
I am going to take another corner. I am going to take in 2026 Toledo Central Catholic's Victor Singleton. Stud. Big physical corner.
I had to type him on my board. I will turn him red to signify.
Need a little size. I love Elbert and Don Miel, but they're not 6 foot. I mean, they're both a bit under 6 foot. So I get some size out there. We'll go with Victor Singleton. Star of the state championship, win over Bishop Watterson.
We're really making the run on defensive backs right now, and I'm just going to keep it going. I'm taking a player out of Mount Healthy.
Oh, it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good pick.
I'm going to take a Jameer Scott.
That's a good pick. He might have been my next DB off the board.
He's not this, and I don't want to name any names. I don't want to give Marc any ideas, but he's not a 6'3" safety or anything like that. He's a little smaller. I have him at 6'1", $177. I think that he's somebody who would fit in well with Noon's Goons Ohio Express.
Oh, it's getting it's getting a little thin.
I've got my five DBs.
But you're done, so I can kind of chill now.
Yeah, I got my 5D. I shouldn't have said anything, but I do have my 5 DBs.
No, I noticed that I'm writing these in as we go. So I did know as I was writing in Scott, I'm like, oh, he's done. So I can kind of chill on that and think about this for a little bit while I shore up some other positions. I am still pissed off that I don't have Quentin Simmons on this roster, especially with Albert Hill and Don Miel Rogers. The speed would just be off the charts. I'd run you right out of the gym. I got to go receiver here. This is just too many. God, my sixth pick. My first 5 picks were not wide receivers in a 7-on-7 draft. So I better get one. Let's go Preston Bauman, Pickerington North, big physical receiver. Certainly it's nice to spread the field in 7-on-7, but it also, I think the big money is made in the red zone on 7-on-7 when the field shrinks and you get a little less room to operate. And that's part of the reason why I took Justin Hill on defense, because I think his wingspan, his size will really shrink the passing lanes between the hashes. And I'll go and get a big-bodied receiver, Preston Bauman from Pickerington North, one of the most productive players in the state of Ohio this past year.
Had the opportunity to watch North play on a couple of occasions. I really like him a lot. He was on my list. He's one of these guys that I don't know why the rankings types guys don't have him higher. I think he is better than what his ranking is. I like that pick a lot. I am going to stay on wide receiver at this point. And if we're talking about having speed, this guy's got some speed. Now, the disadvantage is that he plays at a smaller school against competition that isn't always the greatest.
I know where we're going.
Speed is speed. We're going down to the river. Going down to Ironton. Sean Terry, 5'10", $170. I'll take him.
Knew that was coming.
And while I go to recruit him, I can go to the Scioto River and have a steak.
There you go. That's the only reason you're taking him.
Well, and there's a Tudor's biscuit house or whatever it is, Biscuit World.
Yeah.
In Ironton. I've eaten there. When Ohio State was recruiting Reed Carrico, I had the chance to go down and eat again at a Biscuit World, and it's fantastic.
I'm going to stay at receiver. I am going to go with Olentangy's Jackson Wiley.
Nice pick. He was next up on my board.
I'm going production. We got 2 of the most productive receivers in Ohio right now. All they do is catch about 70, 80 balls.
Yeah, I like that pick. Jackson Wiley is a hell of a player. And I don't need to touch line. Well, wait. We're each taking 2 linebackers.
Correct.
I've made some moves at some positions to where I feel like I can go and get my guy there, because linebacker is a position I don't know as much about. You took a known quantity in Justin Hill. I'm going to take the other known quantity, for me at least. I'm going to take Eli Lee out of Hoban.
Taking the Buckeye.
I need to sell tickets.
Eli's a playmaker. Now, you got to be careful now. He's a bit of a hitter, and this is a t-shirt and shorts league, so you better not be taking shots on my guys going across the middle. Get a personal foul and move the chains.
My guy has the room to exist out there. If your guy just happens to run into his elbow, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, obviously, Hoban is a tremendous program, has been up as of late, just, fantastic talent coming out of there. So I will make sure that I take good care of him here for his 7-on experience.
Oh, man. I can go running back, tight end, receiver. I can go anything other than quarterback. I have no pressure to go DB. You can't take any more. And again, I'm running into this with the receivers where it's like separating one guy from the other is tough. Just there's a lot of just really good receivers in Ohio, and no one that really, to me, is like, I got like even my own Ohio rankings on the site, they're all bunched together closely. So it's not like I have like this huge preference for one over the other. Decisions. I am going to take class of 2026 mentor wide receiver Justin Hodge.
He was on my list. I like it. I see it. That is
big,
a good,
fast, productive. Again, I got all the production here on offense. All these guys do is put up stats.
But we know playing against air sometimes is a different thing. And we've seen some 7-on-7 teams that have had a ton of talent come in, and it's just going to be a matter of how well the pieces work together. We watched the house team at the 7-on event at Ohio State last year, which had all the talent in the world, come up a little short. And I was already over there engraving the trophy. I thought that, based on the talent that they had, that they were going to take it all. So you've got 3 receivers.
Only the highest character guys on this team. They're all team guys. They're all bought in. No issue. No concerns. No chemistry concerns.
I'm trying to decide here. I don't need to touch a quarterback yet. I can wait there. I'm done at corner and I'm done at safety. I'm done in defensive backfield. I'm going to close out my linebackers here, and I'm going to go to Canton McKinley and take Dante McClellan.
I was almost going to take him, and then I was like, no, Kevin's not going to take him. Kevin's going to take
Kevin doesn't know
else.
who the hell he is. Kevin doesn't know this stuff.
Dante plays safety at McKinley a lot, and so I just thought maybe he would get caught up in the wash on that with you, where you kind of not have him as a linebacker, and I was going to brag.
He's only 200 pounds, but yeah.
Yeah, about how I got this great athlete. Basically, I have 6 DBs and Justin Hill with having Dante McClellan out there, and you swiped him from me. That might have been my next pick. Yeah, that's tough. Let me think here. I'm going to fill out my linebacker room too. Well, no, I don't think I need to do that. Kevin's done, so there's no point. I can only take one more receiver, though. I don't want to fill that out yet. Good grief. What do I want to do here? What do I want to do?
For the people watching along, the agony that we're both going through trying to make these picks are real because we both want to win. So we did not collaborate. Marc provided me no names. I didn't, all the graphics are going to be put in post.
This is only going to get tougher as we go, as we try and strategize. If we want to fill out a group that we don't have to fill out yet, or you know what? I'm going to take a defensive back.
Okay.
He may not even be on your radar, but he's very much on mine. I love this guy. I'm going to take him. I already have basically 3 corners, so I can take a safety here. I'm going to stay. I'm going to put the Olentangy guys together. I'm going to get Caden Gebhart, 2026 safety out of Olentangy.
He was on my list.
Unofficially, I think he had 77 tackles against Springfield at the game I watched him at earlier this year.
I had him on my list. He was the next safety I had on my board. So I did as much research as I could. I like that pick right there. I'm going to go back to receiver. And I've got a guy who's 6 foot, and I've got a guy who's 5'10". I want a guy that you have to kind of throw it up to, who could be my short yardage, and goal type of guy. I'm going to go to Walsh Jesuit. I'm going to take Milan Paris.
Good one. He was definitely on my receivers list, and a guy I was going to strongly consider for my 4th receiver spot. That's a good one. Well, I think this makes it, I don't want to say easy for me, but I think this does sort of force me into getting this guy before I potentially lose out at receiver.
If you're taking who I think you are, you best take him right now, because this guy's going to be my next pick. So we'll find out if it is.
I hope I'm taking him from you. He's not far down the street from you, Kevin.
Oh, that's not who I think I know who you're taking. Then that's not who I was going to take. So
I need a little speed. I mean, all my guys can run, but I need a little track speed. So I'm going to go 2026 Watkins Memorial wide receiver Jaden Ricketts to close out my receivers.
I did not have him on my list, and that's not. I mean, again, that is not an indictment of that I don't think somebody can play or whatever. It was just I didn't see him as I was doing 40 minutes of research. Let me turn him red for you. And so, again, we will be dropping in graphics. I'll drop in some footage. So if you're listening to us on one of your favorite podcasting platforms, I highly recommend checking us out at youtube.com/Buckeye Huddle so you can see graphics. And again, it's just going to be pick order and as the teams come together, as well as a couple of highlights, because some of these players are not necessarily going to be guys that Ohio State is going to be recruiting just based on its national footprint and everything else. So check us out on YouTube. Be sure to pass it along. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell. Give us a thumbs up. All of that good stuff. Now I'm left with a conundrum at wide receiver, because I thought you were going to take the one guy. And then when you said it was a guy down the street from me, the other guy's actually closer to your house than my house. I'm going to close out wide receiver for myself. And I love the Akron Hoban program, so I'm going to take Peyton Cook, 6'2", $170 out of Hoban.
There you go. Good pick. There's some really good receivers that went undrafted here, but we can only draft 4. So
I guess we're both full. My last guy that I didn't take was Elijah Harris out of Westerville Central.
I had Elijah on there. Yeah, there's a couple guys I was considering, and just didn't get to. So I might as well just get my choice at running back here. I'm taking Bo Jackson. He can also play defense for me if I need him to. But I'm going to take Bo Jackson.
Okay.
So now you have all the rest of the draft to contemplate your running back selection. If
I
you
do.
want.
Well,
but I wanted my first choice.
I'm going to take the top tight end on the board. I'm going to take Luka Gilbert. I know that there's some questions if he is a collegiate offensive tackle, but this is a high school 7-on-7 team, and he is a high school tight end. So I'm going to take him. He is a big body out there. I just think he presents a lot of trouble when the other two tight ends that were on my board are both 6'4", and Gilbert is 6'7". I'm going to just size and speed, baby. That's where we got to go.
So I'm left with a tight end, a linebacker, and a defensive back, and I don't have any pressure in terms of the order because Kevin's already filled up at these positions. So don't read anything into my order because, again, I'm not trying to block. I don't have to block Kevin from any of these guys. I'm just trying to think what I want to do here. I'm between a few players at a couple of these positions. I'm trying to. The other reason you need to be watching this on YouTube is you can watch the anguish on my face as I try and make these decisions. I'm sure that's worth the price of admission right there. Yeah, I'll clear up tight end. I'll go Caden Peening out of Anderson, a big-time player. I've watched him play 7-on-7. He's an absolute beast in 7-on-7.
He was on my board. And Cooper McCutcheon out of Moeller was on my board. So you were done at tight end. So tight end is done.
I'm done at all. I'm done on offense. I got my offense. I got one linebacker and one DB left. You got a quarterback and a running back left.
I got a quarterback and a running back left. So it really doesn't matter the order that I go either. Just because it's hilarious, I'm going to take my quarterback last because I can. I am going to buck the trend. I think everybody watching looks at Ohio as a 2 running back state with Bo Jackson and Marquise Davis, but I'm not taking Marquise Davis. I am staying in Central Ohio and taking Kentrell Reinhardt.
Wow. Upset.
That's
not an upset.
That's where I'm going. I think that Reinhardt is being majorly slept on. I think he is a tremendous back. I think that he can do a lot of things, and it's not an indictment of Marquise Davis. It is just more of a let's just shake this SOB up a little bit and have a little bit of fun. So, yeah, out of Westland, Kentrell Reinhardt.
Wow. Upset alert. All right. Since you have disgraced the Cleveland Heights program, just total act of disrespect on the Cleveland Heights program.
I have Henry Perriman from there.
No, I just think you've totally disrespected the Cleveland Heights program.
I'm going to be shot on sight.
I am going to take Antonio Williams Jr., class of 2026 Cleveland Heights defensive back, to round out my secondary.
I guess I really did disrespect. I didn't have him on my list.
Jeez, well, I'm not taking you up there when I go up there.
I know. I know. A couple of other names that you're done in your secondary.
Yep,
yeah,
that's
you
it.
are. A couple names that I had that I didn't take. Josiah Williams West out of Wayne and Cianta Stewart out of Winton Woods were other names that I had on my list. I'm really just saying this to show off to the boss that I do pay attention to things and that I just didn't pull names out of a hat or just off of a rankings list.
I needed a little more northeast Ohio. I mean, I did get Jackson and Hodge, and I guess Elbert is technically northeast Ohio, but I was feeling a little disrespectful towards Cleveland, so I had to get a Cleveland guy in there, and also had to make up for your disrespect of Cleveland Heights by taking a Cleveland Heights guy.
Oh, Lord. I guess I'm not going into any Guardians games this year. Quarterback.
You still have a running back. Oh, I'm sorry. No, you don't. You took Reinhardt.
I have a quarterback. That's all I have left.
Last picks.
It's my last pick.
Last pick.
I would beat myself up if I didn't pick Ryan Montgomery out of Findlay. I really like Nathan Bernhard, the 26 out of Ashland, but come on. How can Ryan Montgomery still be on the board other than the fact that Marc took Tavian St. Clair so early that I didn't have any pressure on me? But Ryan Montgomery will be the signal caller on the Ohio 7-on championship team.
Yeah, I kind of figured I was handing you Montgomery by taking St. Clair, but just kind of how I did with running back, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't put into my court. I wanted to kind of be the aggressor with some of these positions. So, and I knew if I waited too long, you would snatch St. Clair from me. I just knew that would happen. But then again, having Ryan would be tremendous. So there's a lot of.
It was a very, it was a thing of, if given my choice, I don't know which way I would have probably gone St. Clair, just because this is a Buckeye channel that we're doing this on and everything else. But I don't have any tears coming out of my eyes that I'm just going to have to settle for Ryan Montgomery.
Yeah, and St. Clair's legs are neutralized by 7-on-7. So as athletic as he can be, doesn't really do much for you in 7-on-7. So I did give up a little bit of his strengths there, but just he's throwing the ball so well right now. I had to go with him. I got a linebacker left.
You do.
And this is where I've got 3 guys here I could take at least, maybe more. This is purely me taking the guy I think is best suited for 7-on-7. So for me, especially after taking Justin Hill, I need to take a smaller, speedier cover guy at linebacker. So I'm sorry to the guys I'm not going to take. And there's a whole bunch of them in 26 we could talk about. I'm going to throw their names out there first before I take the guy I'm going to take. Sincere Johnson from Glenville's a guy. Storm Miller's a guy. Jacoby Clapper from St. X is a guy. These are all guys I'm extremely high on in 2026. They're all guys in my top, I think, 12 or 15 prospects in 2026 in Ohio. But again, for 7-on-7, speed and space purposes, I am going to take Cam Thomas from Lakota West, class of 2026 linebacker.
Turn him red on my list, so I have that, but that'll update in the graphics. I'm going to only have to build 800 graphics from the day that we record this to the day that I publish it. Hopefully it won't. I plan on working on it tonight. We're recording this on Friday evening. I plan on working on it tonight. If it drags into Saturday, no. Normally we get these things turned really quick. We're like finished. We finish recording at 3 and it's posted by 3:30. But this one I'm going to need a day. But here you go. I'm speaking in terms of the graphics being up here. First, here's my team, and we'll go off it quickly. Ryan Montgomery, quarterback, running back Kentrell Reinhardt. My receivers Quentin Simmons, Sean Terry, Peyton Cook, and Milan Paris. My tight end is Luka Gilbert. Switching over to defense, Eli Lee and Dante McClellan. And then my 5 defensive backs, Dwayne Galloway, Henry Perriman, Trey McNutt, Cody Haddad, and Jameer Scott. So that is my team. I've got Marc's team in front of me here too, so let's advance the graphic by the magic of post-production. Tavian St. Clair at quarterback, Bo Jackson at running back. His receivers are Jackson Wiley, Justin Hodge, Preston Bowman, and Jaden Ricketts. Finishing out on offense, Caden Peening is his tight end out of Cincinnati Anderson. Going over to defense, Justin Hill and Cam Thomas are his linebackers. And his defensive backfield, Albert Hill, Donmiel Rogers, Vic Singleton, Caden Gebhardt, and Antonio Williams.
I like my team. I got 4 guys that can play corner, but also 4 guys who can basically play safety. So I like the flexibility I've got. Receiver, I think I've got the right blend of size and speed. All these guys are red zone guys if need be, especially Wiley and Preston and even Justin Hodge is bigger guy. So I don't know. I like it. I like my squad. Let us know in the comments who has the better team. Spoiler alert, it's mine, but I don't want to vote for you. Cast your own vote. Let us know maybe who what the best picks were of the draft, what the worst picks were, or not the worst, but let's not be negative. Let's just let us know who the best.
Who did we miss on? I mean,
yeah, who did we miss on? And then where did we get a steal? Like if you think I got someone late that should have went in the first few picks, or Kevin did or something, let us know. We don't need to put anyone down. But yeah, let us know who the steals of the draft were, and let us know, let us know who should have maybe been the Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant pick that we blew it on. So, but yeah, next year maybe we'll do this live and have like a ticker across the bottom with the draft picks. That may actually save you a lot of time.
That would save me time. We would need a producer for that one.
Yeah,
Tom would have to
we'll get
produce.
Shed on here, or Tom.
Just
Tom
need somebody, who can update this stuff as is, because
Tom's never busy. He doesn't coach any youth sports. Doesn't really have much going on in his life, so we could always have him do it too.
Well, his baseball season's already over. He's a Mets fan, so
yeah, exactly. So, yep, we will get this all posted up on the site as well to look at, but just want to do something different this time and thought this was the perfect time to do this with the rule change coming, now being announced by the OHSAA. So, again, keep it locked in at BuckeyeHuddle.com for more recruiting coverage, team coverage, as the Buckeyes have a couple, 10 days left maybe-ish, 9 days left in spring ball. And then we'll get into the recruiting camps that are coming up the end of April and into Southern Swing as we go visit with the Ohio State top recruiting targets in the South. So thanks everyone for watching and listening, and we will talk to you again soon.